So we're over here on the IW4X server support, and this link will be in the description if you so wish to check it out. It's got a little bit of help here on how to actually set up the server, but it is a little bit dated. So you can just visit the description below and you will find a download for the server config master right here. So this is the file that we're going to be working with to set everything up. It's super easy. It only takes a couple minutes, of course, once you figure out how to actually do it. I think it probably took me somewhere around 3 hours total to figure out how to do this. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So the first thing, obviously, you want to make sure that you do have IW4X installed. And you also want to install Notepad++. There's also going to be a link for that in the description. And of course, you will need WinRAR, which, I mean, if you've been playing with IW4X for a minute now, then chances are you probably have it. Now there is a new install method to IW4X, so be sure that if you don't have it, go watch the previous video on the channel and make sure that you do actually have it, or you are going to be installing it, because like I said, it's not how it used to be. There's a new way to do it. So IW4X folder off to the side. We're not going to need that right now. You're going to go ahead and open the WinRAR here and extract this folder to your desktop. So there we go. We can now get rid of the zip file. So here is everything that you need. Now, first things first, after you install Notepad++, you're going to open up dedicated server.bat. That is the batch file. This is what's going to actually launch the server. So here we are taking a look at it. You've got the game port right here. Don't touch that. You can leave that exactly as it is. Mod folder name. You will need to specify the mod folder if you are using mods, but that's going to actually come in the next tutorial that I'm going to post. This is going to be like a 3 or 4 part series just to make it super easy for you guys to do and not an insanely long video, if you know what I'm saying. So this is the bat folder. You can basically leave it as it is for now because, like I said, we're not adding any sort of mods or anything like that in this first part of the video. You can basically just leave this exactly as it is. So this is all set. We can close out of that. And next thing you're going to do is go into the user raw folder. So under here, the only file that you really need to pay attention to is the server.cfg, which is the server config. And we're going to kind of go a little bit more in depth into this. This is probably the most critical part to make sure that you don't fuck anything up. And also this is how you basically set the entire server up. So first things first, here you're greeted with all of these color codes. These are nice to know. It's nice that they have these. You just put the little caret and the correlating number for whatever color you want. This right here, SV host name, this is what the server is going to look like or say in the list so you can identify it. So we're just going to call it stupid server and we're going to make that rainbow colors just for the sake of it. Now I already do have one set up, but I'm just doing this for an example. So I'll show you, the server, how it starts, all of that. So admin info, you can add this if you want. You just need to add your name into there. And so now, you're the server admin. Doesn't really do much. That's why it's optional, but you can do it. Okay, we can leave the web server downloading alone. Non-gameplay configuration, you can leave this alone. Here, it's basically all set up for you as it is. You can kind of go through these and make sure, everything's set to your standard. It also provides you a little description over here on the right side. The only thing that I would say that's pretty critical here is the password. So you can actually set a password for your server if you want to make it public or if you want to make it private and play with friends or just yourself with like trickshot mods or bot mods, whatever you want to do there. So there is the password right there. We're going to go ahead and set that. Now we've got the base game configuration. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky and things can go wrong very, very quick. So these are all of the game modes here. You will need to use these codes if you happen to want a different sort of game mode. So the game type here is war. That's basic team deathmatch. So we can leave all of this here alone. Everything's basically set for you. Bounces, you can actually add the bounces, and right here, this is how you enable them, or double the bounces. And any angle bounce, it's basically self-explanatory. Anywhere that there is a bounce, you can bounce off of all surfaces or simple, or you have to hit an exact point. If it is 0, again, all of these descriptions, it's very self-explanatory right there. XP boost. So this is where you can manually set the XP for each kill, headshot, death, suicide, assist, blah, blah, blah. You can double the XP, triple it, quadruple it. Just don't go above 6. Otherwise, you will crash the game on this XP scale. You can set this to whatever, the per kill, per headshot value, but do not set this above like 5, just to be sure. Otherwise, it will crash the game, and it took me a while to figure out why it was crashing. And now you're also going to notice right here under all this, it says uncomment below commands for XP config by removing these 2 little dashes here. So if you want anything to be valid, like let's say that you want double XP on the server, you just delete these. That's it. And then you leave everything in its place. So let's say per kill, you want that to be like 500 per kill. You would set that and then delete that. And then all of this will just be standard. The rest will just be the standard values. But when it says uncomment, that means remove these little slashes. Okay, this is hardcore. So if you want the game to be hardcore, then again, you just do that and you're done. And I did not want hardcore, so we're going to leave that there, but that's how you do that. If you do want hardcore mode enabled, airdrop configuration, this is where you can change what the values of the percentage of what comes in care packages. You can change that, change this. Everything is just default free-for-all game type settings. So now you can really dive into this. You can change the score limit of your free-for-all, the time limit of the free-for-all, and all of these other settings. Same thing with team deathmatch and all of the below game types, all of the remaining game types. So if you really want to dive into that, you can dive into that. Otherwise, everything's just going to be normal game mode settings. Now we get to kind of a confusing part, but you can really just leave it as it is here. So these are all of the maps in the stock IW4X um, uh, game. So everything here is going to be in rotation. As you can see, this I really fucked up when I was setting it up, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how I fucked it up. But basically, these are going to be the map rotations. So you're not going to be able to vote for maps. You're not going to be able to vote to skip. It's just going to automatically load into the next map. But don't be worried, because coming up next, we are going to have how to actually change this and implement a voting system. So you can leave this and the rest of everything as it is for now. Don't even bother trying unless you actually know what you're doing. I, again, couldn't figure it out to rotate different game modes and different maps. So I just let it be for the time being until I figured out some more. So then you're just going to go ahead and click save. You're going to close out of that. It saved all of your settings here. So now we've got the folder. And the next thing that we're going to do is take all of this, everything inside of the config master folder, and you're going to drag it straight into the Modern Warfare 2 folder here, the IW4X folder. So I already have it all in because I do have a server, but you literally just copy it straight over. And as you can see, we've got all of the server folders, or the server files, right here. Perfect. Now what? The next step is a little bit tricky, but I'm going to try and walk you through it the best that I can. It's going to vary for everybody, but the next thing is port forwarding. I also messed this up as well. Now, it should be pretty straightforward depending on what router you're using, what your ISP is. It should be fairly straightforward. So this is mine right here under advanced setup, and we have port forwarding, port triggering right here. So this is what you're going to basically be looking at with nothing here. So just ignore this. These are the ports that I already have set up. Now that number that is in the start server batch executable, that is this number here. So you're going to be working off 28960 and your internal IP address. So first thing is first, open up your command prompt, and you're going to type IP config and you are looking for the IPv4 address. That is what you're going to be using to port forward here. That is your machine's local IP address. So what we need to do is again, it's going to look different for everybody, but we're going to add custom service. I do need to sign in once more to do so. So now you're adding the port forward, and you need to make sure that you hold up once this loads. Takes a little bit of a minute to do so. Okay, so here we are. We're going to add the service name. I'm going to call this MW2 UDP. So you will need to forward both the TCP and UDP under separate forwards here. So external port range, that is going to be the 28960. I think that's it. I believe so. But whatever the port number is, that's what you're going to put in. Whatever is in the batch file. And under your protocol, we called this one UDP just to make sure that I don't get it fucked up. So we are forwarding the UDP on the 28960 port, and right here for your internal IP address, all you need to do is fill that in. That is your IPv4 for your machine. So 192.168.1.7. There we go. Perfect. And then the next thing that you do is you just hit apply, and it's going to add that port right here. So as you can see, we've got UDP and TCP. It looks the exact same for both of them. We've got 28960 and our internal IP address. So now we're good. Now we're good to go. So long as those ports are forwarded and you have these in, everything looks good. Boom, we're good. So next thing's next. Everything's moved into your Modern Warfare 2 folder. All that you need to do now is open up the dedicated server batch file. And I prompt you, not verified, so you need to confirm that you want to run it. And this is what it should look like when it loads. If it opens and closes immediately, then that means that either you deleted something that you shouldn't have in the config, and when you're playing around with these config files, stuff can easily get lost. So you need to make sure that you don't delete anything that shouldn't have been deleted. So now we've got the little command prompt here open, and it's all good. It says that it's on. So now next thing's next. All we need to do is pop open our IW4X. Now keep in mind, if you didn't port forward correctly, then it will not show up in the server list. So if you're not seeing your server in the list, it is because you didn't do something right on the port forwarding. So we're going to sort it by ping here. And as you can see, ours should be the lowest ping because it is being hosted off of your local device. So we can go ahead. There's our password. So now this is the server that I've been working on since the other day, trying to figure out how to do it because they shut down the one that I was playing on, and it sucks. So here we are, and we should load in very easily. Yes, we did. And now in the following tutorials, I'm going to be showing you guys how to actually add the bots, how to add some other extra things into the server. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know. Let me know if this helped you out. Let me know if you have any questions, any problems. Go ahead and drop them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you whenever I can. I reply to any and all comments, and if it helps you out, consider liking the video and leaving a little subscription there, and I will see you all in the next one.